what's up, YouTubers? It's me again, Brian, aka Gamer 55551, and I am back with a video game review. And for today, I am going to be taking a look at Disgaea 5. If you could get that. I'm sorry if there's no light though. I'll probably get a light hopefully by next week. So until then, just kind of work with me on this one. Disgaea 5 for the Nintendo Switch, a port of the complete port of the PS4 edition, though. Now, I'll be honest with you, I'm not a big strategy RPG kind of a person, but I have heard of different kinds of strategy RPG before, and the Disgaea series I've heard of a lot, though. I mean, it's a sort of a niche series, though, but it has sort of gained a following, though. And for the most part, the series has stayed exclusively on the PlayStation brand. I think with the first Disgaea, I believe it was released back in 2002. I could be wrong on that one, though. And since then, it has pretty much stayed on the PlayStation systems, though. It has ventured out a little bit, but it has ventured out before. I think the first one was remade for the Nintendo DS. Recently, the series has now made its way onto PC, and now Disgaea 5 has made its way to the Nintendo Switch. So, is it any good? Well, for me though, I think it is, but it also depends on whether or not you want to, double dip again or not. So, why don't we get started with the pros and cons? Let me get my notes out. Oh, there we go. Okay, so we'll start first with the pros. First and foremost, though, is I love the 2D animation in the game, though. Again, the game is not a visual powerhouse, but I love the art style from when they have the cutscenes in the game to the opening one to basically when you're talking around with with other characters in the game as well. But it's overall, I will say, as far as the art style go, it looks nice. I mean, it's an anime art style, which is pretty much how the other games have always been. But I love it. But I enjoy it, though. I really love the 2D sprites and the 2D animation and look to it, though. The next one I will talk about is the gameplay mechanics. Now, I will say that even though I'm not a big strategy RPG kind of a person, I still did enjoy the gameplay, though. It is, like I said, a strategy RPG, but in a turn-based, where you move your character and sort of position themselves, execute your moves. Once you're done, you end your turn, and it's the other player's turn. I have some gameplay footage that probably summed it up better. I'll have a link in the description. You could check that out as well. But what's also interesting is you could do insane combos if you position characters in certain places, sometimes next to each other, sometimes it could be a bit different. They could do like insane combos that could do major damage to certain characters, though. Now, still follow some RPG mechanics. Some characters could be weak towards certain weapons, to certain, like elements like fire, wind, ice, and so on. But overall, the gameplay mechanics is definitely fun. The next one is the story. I will say the story, for the most part, is pretty much fan service, though, okay? And I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean, I don't have an issue with fan service in general, though, okay? I mean, there are some games that do it right, and there are some games that do it wrong. Like, for example, Dead or Alive Extreme Volleyball, okay? Again, nothing against that game, but outside of fan service, there's really no gameplay, though. Here, you have actual gameplay and fan service. I like to point that out. I mean, some of the stories is a little bit bizarre. I mean, there's one part where one guy is cleaning his underwear, and one of the females is upset that his underwear is contaminating her underwear, and so on, yada yada. So it's the story doesn't take itself too serious in certain parts, though. But for the most part, it's funny, it's weird, and I like it. I definitely enjoy the story in this game, though. And finally, last but not least, one of the things to point out is that the game also has all the DLC. So for those who are picking up the Switch version, though, you're basically getting everything right off the bat. So not bad for those who, it's not bad if you're thinking that, oh, I gotta buy the DLCs like when the game originally came out for the PS4. Nope, just pick it up just buy it right here. Just buy the game and all the DLCs are available right off the bat. So definitely a good thing right there. Okay, we're going to take a little bit of a break. When we come back, we will get to part 2 of our video, which I will be talking about the cons. So we'll take a little bit of a break, and we will be right back. Let me find that button. There we go. Okay, and we are back with part 2 of our review. Before we get to the second part, I do want to point out, as I said in the first part, if you're interested in any of the gameplay footage of me playing, if I get it up here, Disgaea 5 Complete Edition for the Nintendo Switch, I'll have a link in the description below, or you can check out one of the cards, you know, that will be, oh, I'm pointing the way. There we go, it's right over here. It would be right over here, you know, with the exclamation point. Click up there to check out the gameplay. Check out the link to, if you want to see some gameplay footage of me playing Disgaea 5 Complete. Alright, with that out of the way, now that we've gotten the pros out of the way, let's start with the cons, okay? The first con I will say is that, although I did find the gameplay to be fun, though, if you're new to it or never play it, though, there is going to be somewhat of a learning curve to the game, though. Some of the mechanics might come off, to some, I'm not saying for everyone, but to some, can be a bit confusing, though. I mean, yes, there is a tutorial. One bright spot is not only there's a tutorial, but if you ever need help, though, you can always check the help option if you want to learn some stuff you may have missed, though. But overall, the gameplay is fun, but there is somewhat of a learning curve to the gameplay mechanics. The second part I want to point out is that, don't get me, as I said earlier, I like the 2D animation art style in the game. That said, the game's not really known for it being a visual powerhouse. So if you're going in expecting something to be like the upcoming Hideo Kojima game, Death Stranded, or expecting it to be as visually as impressive as what Horizon Zero Dawn or Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild was, you may want to sort of like blow your expectations, because that's not really the big selling point for Disgaea 5 Complete, though. Like I said, art style is good. Love the 2D anime art style, though. But again, this is not a game that's promoting a visual powerhouse, so don't go in expecting that, though. And finally, last but not least, though, this is something I said very similar to Mario Kart 8, and it sort of applies here as well. Disgaea 5 Complete is pretty much the Game of the Year edition, though. It's pretty much all the DLCs and everything available, though. So if you're expecting any new content, though, you're not. So if you like to figure, hey, beat the PS4 version, maybe the Switch will have something that's not available in the PS4 version. Doesn't seem to be that's the case. If you're new to the series, or if you've never played the game before and you're playing on the Switch, a lot of this stuff's going to be new. But for those who may have already played it on the PS4, not so much. So, in other words, don't expect any new content in the game, since it's pretty much all the previously DLCs that have come out. So, a little bit of a heads up, though. Doesn't make it a bad game or anything like that. It's just, don't go in expecting you're going to get brand new content or anything like that. Overall, Disgaea 5 Complete Edition is pretty much what the series is known for, is pretty much a niche game. But it's also a fun niche game, though. The gameplay mechanics are good, even though there might be a bit of a learning curve, though. It may not be a big visual powerhouse, but the 2D anime art style definitely fits with the game and style very well. And for those and it's all the DLCs right into one game, which is definitely good, though. It might be a bit of a hard sell for some people who may have already beaten the game on the PS4 and all, so it might be difficult to recommend picking this up, since if you've already beaten the game, though. I would say it's more towards, like folks like me or others who've never played the series before or have never played Disgaea 5 on the PS4 and they just got a Switch, though. So I can understand people might be picking it up for that reason, but but for those who've already beaten the game, it's kind of a hard sell. The only reason why you might pick it up for the Nintendo Switch is you could bring Disgaea 5 with you on the go, since the Switch is a console handheld hybrid. So that's really the only kind of selling point I have for Disgaea 5. So, but overall, it is a fun game. And even though it's a niche game and so on, and if you're a strategy RPG fan and you have a Nintendo Switch, it's worth checking out, though. And besides, until Fire Emblem comes out, which will be sometime next year in 2018, assuming Nintendo doesn't delay it or anything, or anything like that. If you want your strategy RPG fix right now, then this and Fire Emblem Echoes for the 3DS are probably your only choice at this time, at least as far as being on the Nintendo system, preferably the Switch. Although Fire Emblem Echoes is a 3DS game, so hopefully you still have your 3DS hanging around, though. But until then, like I said, you need your strategy RPG fix. I would say you can't go wrong with Disgaea 5 Complete, though. Okay, this concludes this review of Disgaea 5 Complete for the Nintendo Switch. And again, these are my opinion. What are yours? Is Disgaea 5 Complete for the Nintendo Switch, is that worth a double dip, or you don't think it's worth a double dip, though? Were you planning to pick up this game? Were you not planning to pick up the game, though? Have you already beaten it and figured, you know what, I want to pick it up again because I could bring it with me on the go? Or you figure, you know what, I beat it once, I don't need to pick it up again in any way? Excuse me. Ooh, excuse me. Do you agree with my review? Do you disagree with my review? Do you have a different take on it? As always, sound off on the comment section below. Let me know what you think. And I do hope you hit that like button as well. And I hope you do subscribe to my YouTube channel. Also, feel free to share this video if you want to. That'll be fine if you do. And also feel free to donate to my channel if you like. You could do it through PayPal me or through Patreon. Links will be in the description. Well, as you can see out here, it's evening in Southern California, so I'll be getting ready for bed soon. And I will see you again next time when I do another video. Hopefully that will be soon. Until then, for Southern California, I wish you all a good evening. Bye!